So hi guys, welcome to another episode of Strategy Talk. Today again I am joined with Defeng here from Anything But Once.
Hello.
So today in our series of coverage covering some of the changes to the units as well as the rules from 1.6 to either 1.7 or 2.0, whatever the internet people decides to call it or whatever the devs decides to call it, or some call it the 2021 changes. So
Well, it's written in the rulebook as rulebook 2021.
all right, we'll just call it the 2021 patch. All right, so today we'll be covering Baratheons. So I'll talk about a bit about, I guess, the state of Baratheon in 1.6. Do you play a lot of Baratheons in your battle report or like in your games, Defeng?
Yes, actually I play a lot of Renly. I'm a lover of Rose Knights.
Yeah, Rose Knights are. It's one of those units that when it was like announced and released, everybody just went like ballistics over it because it's
Yes.
really good. But yeah, I mean, I also play Baratheon. I mostly play Renly is, of course, like Renly with Rose Knight is just really good. I play a bit of also like Stannis 1, which is quite interesting. But as it stands at 1.6, Baratheon seems to be struggling at the bottom of the competitive level. Simply because in 1.6, activation and mobility seems to be the biggest advantage that an army can have, and unfortunately Baratheon doesn't bring both to the table.
The movement for both the 5-point unit and the Rose Knights is actually quite hindering.
Yep, and they do have some kick-ass unit like Lord of Dragonstone, but unfortunately even he couldn't make a dent at like the current competition. So as with today, we'll be covering up some new, not exactly new, but like some repolished units. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the unit that everyone loves to hate, Stag Knights.
Yes.
Oh my god. I mean, alright, so Stag Knights used to be probably the second worst unit in the game.
Really? I thought it was the worst.
Yeah, but the worst one was Mummers.
No, and that's still the worst because they were 8 points. Mummers were at least cheaper.
Fair enough. So the worst point at 8, the worst unit at 8 points. Back then, basically Stag Knight has the sort of the ability that as they go down in ranks, they gain abilities. So in concept, it looks cool, but in practice, you're most likely gonna get Lancecraft one single shot and then you cry because you can't resolve the ability. And when you're at 1 rank, you are at your most powerful, but then you die to like some random like arrow shots or you die to panic bombs.
Yes.
So now Stag Knights has significantly changed. It's no longer the Stag Knights of your days. So they kept the attack profile and the movement. So now they is the rare infantry unit. Of course, their cost is 8. That hits on a 3+. At 777, they still keep their signature dices not going down. They're still having an armor save of 4+, and they have a morale of 5+.
Yes.
The 2 new abilities that the Stag Knight gets is number 1, Order Resilience. You've seen this order before in the Walrus Clan Chieftain that Free Folk has, and also, as a lot of people calls it, the Giant Wound profile. So Order Resilience reads, when an enemy is performing an attack on this unit, after attack dice are rolled, this unit only suffers 1 wound for every 2 unblocked hits. So for example, if you take 10 hits, you only, if you save up, like for example, you can only take a maximum of 5 wounds. So they're very good at keeping the Stag Knights alive. However, what is also awesome about the new Stag Knights is not only that they're quite survivable, they also hit pretty hard. Stag's Fury now read, gains the following based on the game round. Effects are cumulative. 2+, critical blow. 3+, vicious. 4+, sundering. 5+, deals +1 hit for each of this unit's remaining ranks. Now, before this call was recorded, we mentioned a bit about it's one of the rare infantry units that has critical blow. What do you think of this?
Because throughout all the previews so far, there is no infantry unit that has the keyword critical blow. Then even the Swan Brothers, I believe, from the Night's Watch also lost critical blow. Yeah, they gained martial training.
Yep. So it's one of the rare infantry units that I'm sure that a lot of you here have played a lot of game of A Song of Ice and Fire, and as we can see, like most combat happens at around turn 2 or turn 3, and they gain like I guess one of their spike abilities with critical blow, so that could lead to some situation where they charge in and then they spike a bit of damage. But again, I think the design principle of Stag Knights is that a unit that is 8 points, which is a fifth of your army, should feel like a fifth of your army.
Yes, and especially if you decide to go overboard, and if they keep Loras Tyrell the same, that means he has precision, then this unit will actually hit harder than the rest of your entire army.
Oh yeah, and of course they slightly changed the interaction between critical blow and precision. So it's no longer like 2 auto wounds, but it's 1 auto hit and 1 wound.
1 auto hit and 1 wound, but it's still something that will spike the damage up quite a bit.
Again, but of course at Loras was at 2 points, but at 10 points, like at 10 points, you should feel like a fourth of your army is they should feel very difficult to take down, and I guess the new Stag Knights does embody this sort of design principle of if it's an 8 points unit, it really should feel like an 8 points unit. And of course, knowing Baratheon is that these guys would be at the forefront of your forces and most likely will continue your commander. So your enemy has to deal with them in one way or the other. And even if they don't deal with them, they'll just farm the objective for 2 points.
Something that just came to my mind is the game mode Clash of Kings, because the commander's unit can always come back. So if we put our Renly or Stannis inside this unit, then even if it goes to turn 4, turn 5, and you have really lost your commander, they still come back and they get all the benefits that they get.
Oh, that's pretty sick. Yeah, again, I guess some of the new game modes have a huge emphasis on field commanders. So definitely look out for these guys if you're looking for Baratheon. I think they're no longer a meme. They're actually like really, really legit. And I've done some battle reports with like the new Stag Knights. So if you guys want to take a look at it, I'll have it in the link in the description below. So the second unit that we'd like to talk about today is the new Baratheon Sentinels. Why don't you take it away, Defeng?
So for the new Baratheon Sentinels, they used to hit at 3+, so there is a change in the attack profile. They used to be hit at 3+, 864, but now they reduced the amount of dice for the 3 ranks to 7. So it's now 764. They kept the defense save the same at 4+, but they improved the morale to 6+. Baratheon Sentinels used to be the worst morale guys on the battlefield for Baratheons at 7+. So now they feel quite legit as a 6-point unit. They also gained a new ability called Order Sentinels. After another friendly unit in long range is attacked, this unit performs 1 charge or maneuver action. If charging, it must target the attacker. So this actually opens up a very interesting thing that we were discussing just now with regards to Brienne the Blue. So for Brienne the Blue, she has an ability. If you're attacking Renly's unit, she can make a free attack or free charge action targeting the attacker. But coupled with this Sentinel order, let's say your Brienne the Blue is inside the Sentinels and they are not able to see the unit that is attacking Renly's at the start. You can actually order Sentinel so that the Sentinels will perform a free maneuver action to turn around and take a very good look at the attacker, and then Brienne will say, let's attack. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just find it like hilarious that Baratheon Sentinels finally have the ability called Sentinel. Like, yes. It's just, hey, I was making jokes like, what does the Sentinels do? Sentine? But apparently they have an ability now called Sentinel. So it is interesting for Sentinels is that when they release some of the articles saying that they want to tone down a bit of like free activation or free attacks or things like out of order activation or attacks, yet they keep order Sentinels in, which in our books it is an out of order / out of turn maneuver or attack.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So actually this is actually a boost to this unit.
Yep.
They used the, I think it's in replace of the 3+ to hit. So they actually added in something to help it. But because of this, then it might tie in back to the tactics that the Baratheons have.
Yep. So yeah, this is, well, I mean, again, we will talk about a bit of the tactics deck, some of the new revealed cards, but you know, Baratheon tactics cards also, tactic decks is also like joked as one of the probably like the worst tactic decks you can have. Baratheon Conviction and Stag Knight is some of the worst cards you can have. But yeah, I mean, now I guess the weakness of Sentinel in 1.6 was quite obvious. They don't really have a role on the battlefield. They're just basically a medium infantry with Sundering. They don't really, defend well. They don't really take the alpha strike quite well. So now they serve, a very good role in the battlefield, is making sure that, guarding your commander unit or guarding like a power, like a flank. They can do that, and with the extra mobility granted by Sentinel, Order Sentinel, they can actually do that.
Yes, agreed.
All right, so the next topic is attachment. Unfortunately, as of now, the recording of this is the 9th of January 2021. We only have one revealed attachment, which is the Stag Knight Noble. Now, the Stag Knight Noble here, the previous Stag Knight Noble was also 2 points. And it has an ability, I think, stand your ground or something. I don't quite remember. But basically take 2 wounds and they can make an attack at the enemy unit. So it's like a free Ours is the Fury, but you take some wounds. They completely changed the Stag Knight Nobles. Now it has 3 different abilities. Iron Resolve. This unit gains +1 to panic tests, rolls, and suffers -1 wound from failing panic tests. We've seen this ability in the Guard Captain. Go Down Fighting. Each time a rank in this unit is destroyed, one enemy they are engaged with suffers 1 wound. And Stubborn Tenacity. Each time this unit passes a panic test, one enemy they are engaged with suffers 1 wound. Now, Defeng mentioned, so Go Down Fighting and Stubborn Tenacity sort of replaces existing version of Go Down Fighting and Stubborn Tenacity. Would you like to talk about that?
So the previous version of Go Down Fighting, you suffer 1 wound for every rank that you lose, but if you control the swords, you actually take D3 wounds. So this was in Osha's ability. So now with the new Stag Knight Nobles preview with the Go Down Fighting, they cap it at only 1 wound being taken at any one time. Then Stubborn Tenacity, I can't really remember what was the old rule like.
I think it's Jorah, if I'm not Jorah they have that rule of basically, I think it's also D3. But I can quickly check while you talk about it a bit.
So now is every time this unit passes the panic test, one enemy they are engaged with suffers 1 wound. So definitely you want to put this in a unit that is like Rose Knights. Because the Rose Knights have a 6 morale, and with Renly around, actually with Emboldened around, they can actually go down to 5. Then with other bonuses around, like maybe the Weirwood, then they can actually pass the... No, actually, because even with the Iron Resolve, you already get a +1.
Yep, so they'll be saving at 6 plus Renly 5, so they're already saving at 4.
Then if you have a Weirwood around, they're saving at 3. So when they pass a morale test, the Rose Knights will heal 1, then Deadly Bloom, you will take another 1, then Stubborn Tenacity, you will take another 1.
Yep. I just confirmed that the previous Stubborn Tenacity is an order. When this unit passes a panic test, one enemy engaged with this unit suffers D3 wounds.
Yeah. So now they are taking away. I think they are taking away all the D3 wounds.
Yep. Or just at the very least, the D3 is now changed to just 1.
Yes. So now it's just flat 1 wound.
Doesn't look good for trappers here. I wonder what they're gonna do with trappers.
Because the trappers, they are a very good counter to Stag Knight Nobles.
Well, again, I think we'll talk about our Free Folk episode in a bit, but I think I don't see trappers with their current state right now.
No, sorry. It was not the Stag Knight Nobles, the Dragonstone Nobles.
Yeah. The solo
that
one,
they just call the order, and then one Dragonstone Noble will shake in his boots.
Yep, 33% chance that they die immediately. All right, so we've talked a bit about the Stag Knight Noble, and we have also some discussion about the new MCU. Well, not exactly new, but sort of changed Shira. Would you like to take it away?
So for Shira Arrow, she retains support of the Haystack Hall. When Shira claims the crown, restore 1 wound to 1 friendly combat unit. This was a change from her previous. It's a new thing that she gets. When Shira claims the letters, remove 1 condition token from 1 friendly combat unit. When Shira claims the money bags, if you remove 1 token, place 1 condition token of that type on 1 enemy combat unit. So this one is they added 1 more ability to her. That means when we claim the crown, you can actually restore 1 wound. So it's similar to what Marjorie Tyrell was bringing to the table. But because of that, they are actually boosting her up to 4 points. So I think with that in mind, we are seeing the death of 3-point NCUs. All the 3-point NCUs are going to go up to 4 points.
Yep, and this was confirmed basically yesterday in one of the podcasts that they did with, I think, Chase did it. Well, Chanel basically confirmed that there will be no more 3-point NCU. So all the NCU will go to 4 point or 6. Well, even some NCU is up 6 points.
6 points.
6 points, yeah. Also, like one thing I would like to note with Shira is that they nerfed the money bag because it previously reads when she claims the money bag, you just basically place a condition token on an enemy. This one is not only that you have to remove a token, it also places only the same token to the enemy. So it's a bit of a nerf for her.
But the token that you always want to remove will always be one that is quite important.
Oh, that's true. I mean, if you're up against Lannister, you will always be like weakened, and you would like to weaken your opponent's unit. But I'm just saying that it kind of reduces the flexibility that the previous version had. But I guess it's a bit of a minor nerf in that regards. But with Shira being at 4 points, it's a tough competition for her to be in, considering like her ability only got like up to like a small bit, whereas you have basically in the previous in the Baratheon roster and even neutrals, there's like a lot of kick-ass 4-pointers.
But looking at her ability, the new one that she gets when she claims the crown to restore 1 wound to 1 friendly combat unit, it is very similar to what Marjorie Tyrell brought to the table. So this might also make her one of the go-to choices, maybe, for Randy supporters.
Yep, but as we probably have agreed with some of the version of this, Crown Zone seems to be one of the weakest zone now in 1.7 2.0 2021. Because the panic damage overall has been reduced from D3 plus 1 to D3. So, having incentive to crown zap the opponent is slightly less than it was in the previous version. But I guess
if you have a card that replaces the Crown Zone, her ability still triggers.
True. I guess she basically is very efficient at some of the zone replacement effects. I believe the one you're referring to is Stannis's card, right? The Will of the One True King?
Not only that, also some of the Randy cards. The one that restores wounds or remove condition tokens.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it opens out a few more options for you. Who do you want to choose as your NCU?
Yep, that's a fair point. I think she's good if your commander choice have a lot of zone replacement effects because you don't exactly lose the benefit of that zone. You still get like a secondary effect of that zone, which is quite interesting. And healing on a stick, always useful. Always useful.
Yes.
All right, so we've talked about our NCU, and I think the last topic we have for today is discussing the new card that was revealed for Baratheon. The card is called Sustained Assault. When a friendly unit is performing a melee attack before rolling attack dice, if this unit begin the turn engage with the defender, it rolls its highest attack dice value. If the defender has more remaining ranks than the attacker, the defender becomes vulnerable. Now, let's start the speculation. What will this card replace? What do you think?
I would say it will replace Ours is the Fury.
Whoa, hot take right there.
Because Ours is the Fury is one of the cards that allows for an out of sequence activation. An out of sequence action. So given that they want to reduce this, countercharge and Ours is the Fury, if you want to pick one to lose, let's say if we are not losing both, Ours is the Fury might be the one that they want us to lose.
Yeah, because it's the easiest to proc, I suppose. But I think, like, I don't know, Ours is the Fury is one of those signature cards that Baratheon has. Like, there's a very strong opinion you have that, you know, these will replace Ours is the Fury. But I can see the logic of that. It's in line with reducing the amount of out-of-turn activation. And I guess if you're bringing Sentinels for an out-of-order activation, not every Baratheon list will have Sentinels. So you do have options in your... If you have such an option in your base deck, then, you know, then everyone will basically have a Sentinel. Then why do you need to bring Sentinels?
Actually, there is another card that it might replace. Last Stand. But Last Stand does require you to lose that unit. So there is a hefty price to pay for its trigger. Whereas Ours the Fury, given that Baratheon is very well known for its defense, the 3+ defense for its core, then Ours the Fury might be the card that looks more likely to be lost.
Yep, I mean, like, yeah. So I think that's an interesting point you mentioned. Both Baratheon and Lannister is the only two factions currently with a base 3+ armor save unit, and 3+ armor save unit would be like, I think in the new meta of 2021 would be like one of the premier defensive stats you have, since like you could only like lose a maximum of 3 damage from like panic, but you can like lose so much more with like a failed defensive.
Yes, correct.
I think that's an interesting hot take, replacing either like Ours is the Fury Last Stand or even maybe Countercharge. I was just gonna be mild with my opinion and say we'll change Hold the Line, but I think that's an interesting direction that we're thinking. And this unit does basically give you a benefit when you're either being attacked first, or you basically are attacking the enemy. Because even if you're being attacked, like for example, you go down to like 2 ranks, you get to still punch with the highest stack dice value. And, you know, if you're punching a unit that, for example, is more powerful than you, more remaining ranks than the attacker, then the defender becomes vulnerable. So it's actually quite a defensive card if you think about it.
Yes, but it actually ties in very well with the concept for Baratheons, because they want to be something that is durable and grows stronger as the battle continues. Yep.
I think like the definition that was the core design of Baratheon. Unfortunately, I guess again back to our early assessment of Baratheon in 1.6 is that they never really got a lot of chance to showcase their defensive prowess because most units are just critting left and right. So, you know, they just die in like 1 shot or 2 shot even.
Yeah.
With cards like Sustain Assault, even say like you get the opponent get a good charge at you. You're down at your last rank. You play Sustain Assault and suddenly you're hitting back to like your full capacity.
And the opponent becomes vulnerable.
And you know that goes in with like some token synergy as well. So this is a very interesting card, and you know, again, if you can't finish off like a wounded Baratheon, you should really be afraid. And I think new Baratheon so far from what we're seeing really embodies this playstyle, and I really hope that, you know, Baratheon will get the boost that they need to be actually competitive.
Actually, giving the vulnerable token is also something that works very well with the 2 cards that we previewed, which is the Sentinels and the Stag Knights. Because both of them, as the game goes, one of them starts with Sundering, then the Stag Knights will gain Critical Blow and Sundering. So giving a vulnerable token to the opponent, if you cannot kill me off, is going it's it's going to be very nerve-wracking for them.
Yeah. Again, Baratheon's meant to be very, very scary once you're engaged with them because that's their shtick, right? They take the first hit, then they either heal through the damage or they punch you back, as if they're fighting at full capacity, and that should be, in my opinion, the design of Baratheon. And I'm liking this new changes. It really feels like it's a Baratheon playstyle.
Yes.
Really, really can't wait for like all the full units to be released. But so far, these are the units that we're previewed with. I think if you do want to play Baratheon with like some of the new rules, I suppose you can try out new sentinels. I've showcased some of new Stag Knights in my battle reports. I know Anything But Once hasn't really done any 2021 rule changes because they want to still stick with 1.6.
Because we do not really know how the cards interact with each other. That's why we didn't want to really try out the new rules.
Yep, and that's fine. I mean, in my channel, I just like to showcase new stuff, so it's so people get interested back in the game again. But I suppose like some people mentioned, don't mix the rules. But hey, we're doing it for the memes. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's it for this today's episode of Tactics in 2021. Once again, thank you for Defeng for joining me in this conversation.
Thank you.
And anything you'd like to have as a closing thought?
I'm actually quite interested to see what is the change to the Rylor Archers, because this was a unit that was previewed very early on last year, and now that they are moving over to 2021, I believe there are changes to that unit. Just that that's why it's something that I feel it might make Stannis the army looks quite good once we get all the new unit stats for all these units.
One of the missing pieces of the whole Baratheon puzzle was having a good range unit. And as we see, Panic in 2021 is not as powerful as it was Panic in 1.6. Even if they still retain the current ability, which is, I believe, the enemy also suffer +1 a wound to their Panic test, and also being vicious. I mean, it's your maximum only taking an extra 2 to 4 damage, which was the previous Panic test anyway.
It does tying back to reducing the overall damage output for all the units.
And I think the more important fact is that if their stats is not changed, they're hitting on 3+, and 3+ is very consistent.
I think they are going to change that. It's going to go down to 4+. It's going to do up to 4+.
I guess that's also like one of the biggest consideration of what will. But then this is just a food for thought for people still listening, and for us as well. If they make everything 4+, then is Stormcrow Archer the best archer in the game?
Well, it doesn't get any. It might lose its the ability to attack when you are influenced by the money bags. I think it went off.
Well, we're in a new land. We're in the brave new world, as they say it. So anything can happen. But so far, some of the changes are interesting, and it should keep you more excited about what the games will be like. Once everything is revealed, I think we can do maybe a few more episodes. But if you're listening to the series of tactics, we will have also a few more coming up within the next couple of days. We'll be talking about your faction, neutrals, free folk, Stark, Nightwatch, Targaryen, etc. So I think that's it for today. Once again, thank you for Defeng for joining me in this tactics talk.
Thank you.
So we'll see you guys again next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.